Our viewers told us which board games they've been playing and why, and we picked out a bunch to share with you. There's some old favourites, dash of news hotness, and several surprises on this month's People's Choice Selections. Congratulations, humanity is dead. The bad news is that all they're left behind is their garbage and a broken gig economy. That's why we need freelancers like you who already know how to take any job, no matter how loathsome. As a freelancer, you will delve into ruins, brave the wilds, and slay the hordes of hideous creatures that lit the dark, forgotten corners of the world. Also, you can gather loot and return home ready to blow it all and start over again the next day. It's a lousy gig, so it's perfect for the likes of you. I didn't write that. That's the tag, that's what the game says. Freelancers, a Crossroads game, condenses the fantasy RPG campaign experience into a single night of fun and mayhem for 3 to 7 players. What a wild player count. You'll need to create a character then roll what they call funky dice in order to blaze your way through the multiple stories set in the world of magic, monsters, and murder. There's a magical companion app, which I do doubt is magical, that does all the storytelling for you as you immerse yourself in a fully voiced, industry-leading audio as you explore hundreds of branching paths and 5 replayable campaigns. Stephen F. is the one who brought this one to our attention. I had so much fun playing this game with my family. It has tons of characters and even more jobs. The combinations are immense. The audio track had my nephews laughing and I can't wait to play on the next map. Dung Farmers Unite. I have no idea what the Dung Farmers Unite means. I'm going to assume it's a personal family joke and not a reference to the game. You know, I'm used to my Crossroads games being, there's a zombie and now you're dead, you know? But this is Freelancers, which is a wild theme. What is happening with the theme in this game? And it's got this app that, you know, you make a decision and then later on you reap the punishment of the decision you made. I do enjoy that in the game, and this seems to be really a multiplayer RPG in a box that you kind of just choose your own adventure through and play and have fun with and laugh about, which sounds fun to me.
And a game that sounds fun to me, hi there, is one that I'm really looking forward to, and just happens to also be one that helped make this episode possible, Landmarks, a word game of hidden paths and clever clues from Floodgate Games. You and your friends have suddenly found yourselves lost deep in an island jungle. It happens. And now they're relying on you to guide them to safety and to treasure. In this jungle, every word matters because you're going to use strategic wordplay to create a chain of single-word clues to lead them through the jungle. And the clues you give will create connections between themselves, blazing a trail leading to fortune and glory. Use your clues to guide your party to the next landmark, or at least try to, because who knows if your team is going to make the same connections that you intended them to make, or if they're going to just veer off in their own direction. But the direction that you should go in next is to follow the link in this video's description for more information about Landmarks, because this game is going to be available from Floodgate Games at Gen Con and reaches stores this fall. So grab your map, because to lead your team to the next landmark, all you need to do is say the word.
It's the mid-19th century. The city of Barcelona is the most densely populated city in all of Europe. Shortly after the old city walls were finally destroyed, a plan is presented to the creation of the Example, the expansion that Barcelona so desperately needed. Its construction began in 1860. And in Barcelona, you and up to 3 other people, friends, random Spaniards, who your choice, you know? Well, you take on the role of the builders of 19th century Barcelona who are working on the new expansion to the city. Your main goal is to construct buildings to accommodate the citizens who want to leave the old city. And in the process, you'll also build streets, create tram lines, and build public services. You may even decide to explore modernism, a new architectural and art style that has been gaining popularity among the rich. Which doesn't mean it's good, does it? We know that. It's Ren Divvy who's been playing this one, who says, why aren't more people talking about Barcelona? It's one of the most beautiful games on the table, packs a ton of gameplay and replayability in a reasonably priced package, and has been a hit with every person who's played it with me. I enjoyed Barcelona. I wasn't expecting to. It's a big, heavy Euro. By my standards, by your standards, that might be different. But to me, it's like, I mean, this is a thinky Euro with a ton of actions to choose from. But I do like how you choose the actions, because you put a piece on the board and you get to choose like what the actions of the crossroad. That's fun. Never did quite work out how the trams worked, but there's lots of points to be scored for everything. And the cool thing about Barcelona is you kind of dictate your own way to scoring, because the way you choose your bonuses and the way you choose what you are going to like multiply things by denotes what your end game score is going to be, and you get to make those decisions. But you also have to make those decisions early on, and you might be wrong. I was. As the newest hires at the local bakery, you have been assigned to work with the hottest selling items. Most items, though, are hot immediately out the oven. The donuts. Your job is twofold. Any more folds and you'll be making croissants, was a joke I wrote and was really happy about. Also, both folds involve making donuts. One is to arrange the donuts in the display case. The other is to put those donuts into boxes to fulfill customer orders. You also want to make an extra push to sell donuts with sprinkles and coffee, as these can earn you extra cash. Sell your delicious treats better than anyone else, and you'll be walking home with the most money at the end of the day. In Donut Shop, 2 to 4 players will be taking turns placing donut tiles in the display case, earning points based on how many donuts of the same type are connected, and players have the opportunity to box groupings of donuts in the display case in order to fill customer requests from their order cards and earn extra money. Philando M's been playing this one. He says Donut Shop is simple, fun, and fills you with the kind of nostalgia that makes you feel warm inside, much like actual donuts. Did I get the expansion just to try out some silly shop hats? Yes! Yes, I did. No shame. So, Donut Shop is a Jeffrey Allers game. And I tell you what, I quite like his games. Citrus, brilliant game. And he's got a game called Heartland, which they remade into Gonkimono. And there's a similarity here with Gonkimono in kind of like the way you're placing tiles and making groups, and you want to make groups that are big, that are good for you, but also it's a shared board. So the groups you're making are going to benefit other people. So it's like, I need the group to be big on my turn and then small on everyone else's turn. And it's delicious as a choice. And I really enjoy that in Gonkimono and Heartland. So I think I really want to try this one. Welcome to Alula, a mysterious continent with ever-changing geography, shaped after the rhythm of the seasons. Beyond the Sea of Mists lies the mysterious continent of Alula. Roam across the land in search of its secrets, meet its inhabitants, and list its wonders in order to gain more fame than your opponents. Throughout a game of Far Away, 2 to 6 players will play a row of 8 cards in front of themselves. From left to right, these cards represent the regions that you will come across while exploring the lands. Characters on these cards will grant you victory points if you later fulfill the conditions that they demand. At the end of the game, you walk back the same way you came, scoring the cards in the opposite order. It will break your mind. There lies the heart of the gameplay. Throughout the game, the cards you play will serve both to set new objectives and to meet the ones you played previously. Stephen Waffle says, this game breaks my brain. Playing cards in order but resolving them in reverse order is far trickier than it seems. It's nigh on impossible to do. Truly it is. When I first played Far Away, I think I said, oh, this is going to be nominated for the Spiel des Jahres. This is going to win the Game of the Year. And that didn't happen because the nominations are out and Far Away was not one of them. But I was so positive because it's a fun, fast-playing family game that really gets you thinking. And it's so good because you're drafting these cards and you want to play them out, and then you want to score them in reverse so that the scoring thing that you've got on this card is true by the time you get back to this card. But you're only playing 8 cards. If you play the cards in a certain sequence from low to high, you also get bonus cards. And I tell you now, you want the bonus cards. They are going to help you. They've got lots of symbols on that you need. Far Away is just an exceptional little game. Your garden awaits. And that is written in capital letters on Board Game Geek, so it does read like a threat. Spend the afternoon in Floriferous. I've never been able to say this game. Floriferous? Spend your afternoon floriferous garden. Relax while enjoying the elegant game of strolling through your garden and collecting flowers. Find joy in the abundance of nature. Find the most joy by collecting flowers and pairing them with the abundance of desires and mastery cards. Floriferous, for 1 to 4 players, is played over 3 game days, which are divided into 5 turns. Each turn a player moves 1 step through the garden, and after each move the player picks up a flower or desire card. After 3 days, players sum up their scores for their desires, mastery and points earned during the game. The player, of course, with the most points wins. Dennis S says, it's my 15-year-old daughter who always seems hesitant whenever I offer to show her a game, and yet she always enjoys the games when she does try them out, and for some games she wants to play the game over and over again. This is one of those games. Dennis, you said games about 65 times there, but also this one's really beautiful, which is what you also enjoy about it, it seems. Now, Floriferous really plays out like a calm, beautiful walk in nature. You just move your piece 1 step and then draft a card or a bonus card. And you're trying to create sets. You want, I know there's loads of different scoring things. So you want sets of colours, or 1 of each colour, or ladybugs, or you're trying to collect statues which score for having the most statues. Lots of different, just easy to understand and recognise scoring things, but you're picking up just a single card, then wait for your turn again, and then picking up a card. And it just rolls, and it's just such a lovely, calming game. And that's what I really like about it. It's just a really calm game to play. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart is dead. There's a second game on this list with the is dead tagline, but it's not wrong. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart is indeed dead. His last conscious actions on his deathbed was composing Lacrimosa, movement of his opus Requiem. In Lacrimosa, 1 to 4 players take the roles of patrons of the late musician. If you're a patron of Watch It Played, you can also tell us what you've been playing and have your games featured on this list. But that is besides the point. These patrons are contributing to the funding of the composer's work one last time. During the game, you play in 2 different timelines, which is confusing enough. The present and the past, so you need to commission the missing parts of the Requiem from the composers in order to complete it. Buying new compositions from the composer to sell at an exhibition, or accompany him on the different journeys through the main courts of Europe and the theatres, and gather the resources you need in order to support the musician during his career, even though he's actually already dead in the game. It's very complicated. Elizabeth S says, it's a very fun game with lots of decisions. We played with 4 people and it took a little longer than 90 minutes, closer to 2 hours. Theme is very good in this game. If only it took as long to play as the exact amount of time that the Requiem music is. And you had that long, and then if you took longer, everyone lost. That's theme. That's what us gamers really want. Lacrimosa is indeed a complex game, but I think they tried to really approach a subject matter that I was like, why? This is what the game's about, but they just went whole hog into it. I remember Essen, they had like people singing Mozart at the booth. I mean, they really went all in on the theme. And what I did enjoy about this game is there's a card play where you want to get better cards that do better actions, and it is satisfying in that. It's not a deck builder per se, but it was very satisfying bulking up your actions, which I enjoyed a lot. In Oh My Goods! First released as Royal Goods, there's an exclamation point. First released as Royal Goods, 2 to 4 players are European artisans during the Middle Ages who produce tools, barrels, glass, windows, and many other goods, but only if you make clever use of the production chains will you have the most victory points at the end of the game. Henry W says, oh my, this is a fun Euro card game. There's a lot of depth in this small box. That's what intrigues me about Oh My Goods, is that it's a small box and there's a big full game in there. I think there's expansions for it and all manner of stuff. Oh My Goods is all about having a hand of cards and then trying to build the buildings that you can quickly to win, and there's certain objectives to go for, like different types of buildings, and it's one of those little card games that I've always really wanted to try but never got around to playing. Why not? I think the name put me off for a little bit, but I want to try this game. A mob of fun dead zombies are invading the quaint town of Brainsborough, while their pea-packing plants branch out for a battle of suburban domination. Risk Plants vs. Zombies is a two-player version of the decades-old Risk game, with one player controlling the zombies, one player controlling the plants, from this wildly successful Plants vs. Zombies digital game. What? The game features a double-sided game board and 3 play modes: mission objectives, tower defense, and total domination. Colin P has been playing this. Colin, what happened? My 10-year-old son loves this franchise, so I picked him up a copy for his birthday. The classic Risk variant is just okay, but the PVZ, Plants vs. Zombies, skirmish mode, that's based on the original mobile game, needs more brains power than you'd think. I looked this up. So this is Plants vs. Zombies Risk, and there's a double-sided board, right? So the one side is just a version of Risk. But the version that everyone seems to like, I did a lot more research on this game than you'd think, is this skirmish mode. And it really is Risk, but Plants vs. Zombies, the mobile game. Because the zombies are moving forward and the plants you put down, but you can't move them other than some car powers. And you want to get coins to bulk up your action, so you've got like firing at range. But the combat is resolved Risk style. You just roll some dice. I think this looks like it could be fun. And a lot of people are saying it's harder to win as the plants, but it is certainly possible. I'm very interested in playing this. In Let's Go to Japan, you are, there's an exclamation point there too, I don't know why. You are a traveller planning and experiencing your own dream vacation to Japan. The game consists of 13 rounds in which the 1 to 5 players will draw activity cards illustrated by Japan-based artists and strategically place them on different days in their week-long itinerary. These can't miss choice attractions will have you bouncing between Tokyo and Kyoto as you try to puzzle out the optimal activities to maximise your experience while balancing your resources. The game ends with a final round in which you ultimately go on your planned trip, activating each of your cards in order along the way. Takumi's been playing this one and says, I enjoyed seeing the vistas, locations and activities that were on the cards. Really captures the feeling of planning that dream vacation and would love to visit Japan one day. You and me both. I really want to go. Everyone wants to go to Japan. Well, it just seems fun. This game, artwork wise, is so beautiful, and I know people who have been planning a trip to Japan and have literally got ideas for the trip from this game. Like, oh, well, actually, we should totally do that. Because from my understanding, the game kind of came about when a guy was designing it because he couldn't go to Japan because the world shut down. Remember that? So there's a real heart to this game, and it feels like it really does what it set out to do. It's like you really can kind of plan a trip to Japan using this. So for that, it's great, it's fun. Votes for Women is a 1 to 4 player card-driven game covering the American women's suffrage movement from 1848 to 1920, culminating in the ratification or rejection of the 19th Amendment. The game provides competitive, cooperative and solitaire play, with cooperative and solitaire play against the Oppo-bot. I'd come up with a better name than Oppo-bot, but they were busy designing a game, I suppose. To win, the suffragist player must have Congress pass the proposed amendment and have 3/4 of the states ratify the amendment. The opposition player wins by either preventing Congress from passing the proposed amendment or by having 13 states reject the amendment. Harold B says, great history and interesting application of the election game model. Now, I like 1960s Making of a President, which is a kind of an election game, which makes me interested in playing this. Also, I like saying, votes for women, step in time, because of Mary Poppins. That's a big part of my interest in this game, is singing that song a lot. It wouldn't be fun for anyone else, but I would enjoy it. Maybe I should do the solo event against the Oppo-bot. Paula enjoyed playing this one, and is it Fort Circle games? They seem to be doing these not introductory would be the wrong word, but these easily accessible war games. Although this is not a war game. It was voted in some awards as a war game. It's a historical game. It's not a war. It's not a. Anyway, let's not even get into all of that. It's apparently very good, so I'd love to try it. And that's a sampling of what our viewers have been playing this month. To join the discussion for next episode, follow the link in the video's description to our Patreon to find out how to make your games featured on the People's Choice. And to see our own games on our personal radars, continue on to this one's On the Radar. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you over there. Bye.